There are 4 speaking tasks included in this practice exercise. After the independent task has been answered, related ideas and expressions will be shown for response improvement and vocabulary building. As for the integrated tasks, important points that need to be included in a response will be shown after each task has been answered, to check whether your response contains the necessary details. For independent speaking, Task 1, you will be given 15 seconds to prepare a response, and 45 seconds to speak. For integrated speaking, Tasks 2 and 3, you will have 45 seconds to read the passage, and then listen to a conversation or lecture. You will then have 30 seconds to prepare a response, and 60 seconds to speak. For integrated speaking, Task 4, you will listen to a professor's lecture, and then will be given 20 seconds to prepare a response, and 60 seconds to speak. Speaking Task 1. You will have 15 seconds to prepare a response, and 45 seconds to speak.
Some students like to work and earn money during the summer. Others like to have the summer off. Which would you prefer? Include specific reasons and details in your response.
Begin to prepare your response after the beep. Please begin speaking after the beep.
Speaking Task 2. You will have 45 seconds to read an announcement about a volunteer recycling program. Then, listen to a conversation between 2 speakers discussing the announcement. After the conversation, you will have 30 seconds to prepare a response, and 60 seconds to speak. Begin reading now. Now listen to 2 students as they discuss the announcement.
Isn't it great the school is promoting recycling? How about if we sign up to volunteer for the event?
Are you serious? We already pay a lot of money in tuition and fees. I don't see why they can't hire workers instead of expecting free labor from students.
Don't be so cynical. Paying people would require more fees for the students. By having volunteers, they're saving money.
I think there must be money in the budget to pay for 2 days' labor. They can find money for everything else. Why not this?
I don't know, but it's a good cause. Don't you want to give back to the community?
Frankly, I don't think it's such a great cause. I would volunteer for an issue I believe in, but I'm not convinced recycling is as good as people think.
You don't think recycling is a worthy cause?
Not really. Some research shows that it uses more resources than simply making new materials does.
The woman expresses her opinion about the volunteer recycling program. Explain her opinion, and the reasons she gives for holding it.
Begin to prepare your response after the beep. Please begin speaking after the beep.
Speaking Task 3. You will have 50 seconds to read the passage about plate tectonics. Then, listen to a lecture about the same topic. After the lecture, you will be given 30 seconds to prepare a response, and 60 seconds to speak. Begin reading now. Now listen to a lecture related to the passage you just read.
Wegener first noticed that the continents seemed to fit together like a jigsaw puzzle. When you look at a map of the world, you can see a fit between the eastern coast of South America and the western coast of Africa. But this realization wasn't enough to prove his hypothesis of continental drift. However, scientists have found additional evidence which proves that Wegener's hypothesis is accurate. One type of evidence involves fossil records. Scientists have found fossils of ancient animals distributed widely across the continents, indicating that the land masses must have been joined at some point in prehistory. For instance, fossil remains of one of the first marine reptiles, known as Mesosaurus, have been found in both South America and Africa. This suggests that Africa and South America were once part of the same continent. It's also true that the geology of the South American and African coasts is remarkably similar, lending further evidence to Wegener's hypothesis. When you fit the two continents together, you can see that distinct rock formations and mineral deposits match up. For example, the same type of sandstone hills that end on the west coast of Africa can be found on the east coast of South America. This same type of sandstone occurs nowhere else in the world so clearly. Obviously, these continents were connected at one time.
The professor discusses the theory of continental drift. Explain what it is and how it is supported.
Begin to prepare your response after the beep. Please begin speaking after the beep.
Speaking Task 4. You will listen to a lecture. Then you will have 20 seconds to prepare a response, and 60 seconds to speak. Now listen to a lecture. The professor is discussing about charismatic leaders.
There are many theories out there about what it takes to be an effective leader. But the one attribute that links all these theories together is charisma. Charisma is the ability to inspire enthusiasm, interest, or affection in other people. So basically, the theory of charismatic leadership assumes that all good leaders must have charisma in order to attract followers, and according to the theory, charismatic leaders share two common traits. First of all, charismatic leaders create a compelling vision that appeals to their followers' values, interests, hopes, and dreams. A charismatic leader is not content simply to lead a group along its present course, but strives to reach high goals and ideals. In this sense, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., a famous American during the 1960s, was a charismatic leader. His vision was this, that all men were created equal, no matter their differences. He helped convince people that treating certain Americans unfairly was wrong and attracted a large number of followers who helped accomplish his vision. He was thus able to inspire the American government to pass laws that guaranteed certain rights for all people. Secondly, charismatic leaders demonstrate their vision through action. They don't just delegate tasks and tell people how to behave, but rather exhibit ideal behavior through their own actions. There was a famous World War II general, named Patton, for example, who once demonstrated this approach to leadership by intervening at the scene of a traffic jam. He pulled up to the jam, and rather than yelling orders, he got out of his Jeep and started directing traffic himself. As traffic started to move, he turned the job over to the military police. In this manner, Patton was able to teach his subordinates, in this case the police, through action, and he also gained their admiration.
Using points and examples from the lecture, describe the two traits of a charismatic leader and explain how these traits were used.
Begin to prepare your response after the beep. Please begin speaking after the beep.